Guys, I'm really struggling with this essay. It's so much more difficult than high school, and I have no idea where to start. It's just overwhelming.
Hey, don't worry too much about it. The first thing you should do is to make sure you understand the question. Trying to write without a clear idea of what you're supposed to be discussing will just make things harder.
Yeah, you don't need to start by writing the summary or introduction. Just start with the main content first. Get all your ideas down, and then you can organize them into a logical order later.
That's true. Once you have your main points, you can write a draft and then go back and revise. You might find it easier to write the summary once you've done that. And don't forget, we're here to help too. We can proofread your draft and give you some feedback.
That sounds like a good plan. I feel much better about this now.
The Writing Center on campus is also a great resource. They can help you brainstorm ideas and even review your essay before you submit it.
Exactly, don't hesitate to use the resources available to you. And take breaks too when you find yourself stuck. Sometimes stepping away for a bit can help clear your mind and give you a fresh perspective.
Yeah, you guys make a lot of sense. I'll start by understanding the question and then move on from there. And I'll definitely use the Writing Center's help too. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Just remember to take it one step at a time. Writing an essay doesn't have to be a huge, insurmountable task. You're capable of breaking it down and conquering it piece by piece.
Exactly, remember we're only a call away. We all struggle at times, but that's how we learn and grow. You've got this.
Prepare your response after the beep. Start speaking after the beep.
The discussion centered on a student who felt overwhelmed by writing her essay at the university level. She expressed that the task seemed much more difficult than in high school and that she did not know how to begin. One friend advised her to start by carefully understanding the question before attempting to write, emphasizing that clarity of purpose was essential. The other suggested focusing on drafting the main content first and later organizing it into a coherent structure, noting that the introduction and conclusion would be easier to complete once the core material was written. Both friends agreed that revision and drafting were important, and they offered to provide feedback on her work. They also encouraged her to make use of the campus writing center, where she could receive additional guidance and support. Furthermore, they stressed the importance of taking breaks to regain focus and approaching the task step by step rather than treating it as overwhelming. In conclusion, the conversation highlighted strategies such as understanding the essay prompt, drafting main ideas before refining, using available academic resources, and maintaining a balanced approach. The student acknowledged these suggestions and felt reassured, expressing confidence in starting the task with the support of her friends and institutional resources.
Okay, so what I'd like you to do now is to talk to your partner about your presentations on urban planning. You should have done most of the reading now, so I'd like you to share your ideas and talk about the structure of your presentation and what you need to do next.
Okay, Rob, I'm glad we chose quite a specific topic, cities built next to the sea. It made it much easier to find relevant information.
Yeah, and cities are growing so quickly. I mean, we know that more than half the world's population lives in cities now.
Yeah, though that's all cities, not just ones on the coast. But most of the biggest cities are actually built by the sea. I'd not realised that before.
Nor me. And what's more, a lot of them are built at places where rivers come out into the sea, but apparently this can be a problem.
Why?
Well, as the city expands, agriculture and industry tend to spread further inland along the rivers, and so agriculture moves even further inland up the river. That's not necessarily a problem, except it means more and more pollutants are discharged into the rivers.
So these are brought downstream to the cities?
Right. Did you read that article about Miami on the east coast of the USA?
No.
Well, apparently back in the 1950s, they built channels to drain away the water in case of flooding.
Sounds sensible.
Yeah, they spent quite a lot of money on them, but what they didn't take into account was global warming. So they built the drainage channels too close to sea level, and now sea levels are rising, they're more or less useless. If there's a lot of rain, the water can't run away. There's nowhere for it to go. The whole design was faulty.
Prepare your response after the beep. Start speaking after the beep.
The discussion was about preparing a presentation on urban planning, with a focus on cities located by the sea. The tutor encouraged the students to exchange ideas and clarify the structure of their work. Carla mentioned that choosing coastal cities as a topic made the research process more manageable, and Rob added that urbanization is expanding rapidly, with over half of the world's population now living in cities. Carla noted that many of the largest cities are coastal, often situated where rivers meet the sea. Rob explained that such locations create challenges, as industrial and agricultural activities along rivers discharge pollutants that eventually reach urban areas. He illustrated this with the case of Miami, where drainage channels were constructed in the 1950s to prevent flooding. However, due to rising sea levels linked to global warming, these channels have become ineffective, leaving the city vulnerable during heavy rainfall. In summary, the conversation emphasized the unique issues faced by coastal cities, particularly in relation to pollution and inadequate infrastructure, highlighting the importance of sustainable urban planning in addressing environmental changes.
Three students are discussing their housing plans for the upcoming academic year.
The people at the accommodation office wanted to know who is coming by to live on campus next year. We gotta let them know for sure by next week. It sounds like most people are coming back. What are you guys gonna do? Have you decided yet?
Really? They need to know so soon. Well, I have already decided. I am coming back next year, and I put in my request for a single room yesterday actually. I think on-campus accommodation provides a better atmosphere for studying, and I hate commuting. Walking to class in 5 minutes beats waiting for the bus in the rain.
Honestly, I've been considering living outside. I think I would prefer a bit more independence. I've found an affordable place that is pretty close to campus. Plus, I think living off campus could be a good way to experience more of the city.
Really? I hadn't heard you made a decision. That's interesting. Well, those are both good points. I'm kind of torn between the convenience of living on campus and the independence of living off campus. Maybe having my own space would help me sleep better? But then again, who's going to remind me to pick up my laundry from the basement?
Hey, why don't you make a list of pros and cons? That might help you in your decision making. Or you could just flip a coin, Joe. But really, think about what will make your life easier and happier. Consider the cost, travel time, studies, and distractions in both scenarios.
Interesting. I will keep these points in mind when submitting the response. Whatever the case, everyone needs to make up their mind by next week for sure. The accommodation office said they're assigning rooms on a first-come basis, so I don't want to miss out if I end up choosing on campus. Anyway, I better finalize my housing choice by Friday to beat the deadline.
That's fair enough. I've made up my mind anyway. After hearing you two talk, I'm even more set on staying. My list of pros for on-campus is way longer. 24/7 library access, not having to sign a lease, and the fact that my favorite study group meets in the dorm lounge every Tuesday. I'll go submit my form after class today.
That's the spirit. And hey, if you ever get tired of cafeteria food, my place has a tiny kitchen. You're welcome to come over for dinner sometime. I'm still figuring out how to cook tofu, but practice makes perfect, right?
That sounds great. I'll definitely take you up on that. Cafeteria food does get repetitive after a while. Maybe I can bring over some of my mom's homemade spice mix to help with the tofu. She swears it makes even the blandest veggies taste good. And who knows, if your place is that close, maybe I'll pop by to study sometimes too. Change of scenery might do me good.
Prepare your response after the beep. Start speaking after the beep.
The discussion involves 3 people talking about housing plan for the upcoming academic year. The speaker 1 first mentioned information from accommodation office. And then, the speaker has explained that she is torn between living on campus and off campus. Followed by that, in the discussion, they mentioned assigning rooms on a first-come basis. From her, we know that she will finalize housing choice by Friday. The second speaker is mainly about deciding to come back next year. Firstly, the speaker emphasized that he requested single room yesterday. He also mentioned on-campus accommodation is better for studying. Lastly, the speaker believed that he hates commuting. In addition, he suggested that list of pros for on-campus is longer, so he referred to repetitive cafeteria food. As a result, he finally concluded that he pops by to study sometimes. As for the third speaker, she agreed with considering living outside. What's more, she shared the opinion about preferring more independence. Next, she had faith in finding an affordable place. After that, she claimed that she can experience more of the city. Besides, she highlighted the point of making a list of pros and cons. Finally, she accepted the solution of flipping a coin. So, she came to a conclusion that they should consider the cost, travel time, studies, and distraction. Overall, they focused on the main topic of housing plan for the upcoming academic year.